Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This is your final video for this week's SmackDown for April the 17th. Birthdays on April 17th. Nails. He was born 1958. Roddy Piper, 1954. Brooklyn Brawler, 1961 on the 18th. On the 19th, Roxy. She was born 1980. On the 20th, Johnny the Bull. He was born 1977. Kurt Hawkins, 1985. Garrett Bischoff, 1984. On the 21st, Jay Lethal. He was born 1985. On the 21st, also Nikki Cross. She was born 1989. And Ezekiel Jackson. He was born on, his birthday is on April 22nd. And he was born 1978. Former NXT Women's Champion Ember Moon was recently interviewed by CBS Sports in this corner podcast to discuss her run as a champion and other topics. At NXT TakeOver New Orleans, Moon unsuccessfully defended her title against Shayna Baszler. However, she was Nia Jax's mystery partner against Alexa Bliss and Mickie James, making her main roster debut on Raw after WrestleMania. During the first several months of her NXT run, Moon was one of the most dominant names on the roster. Her efforts led to becoming #1 contender to the Women's Championship, competing against then undefeated Asuka at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3. Unfortunately for Moon, she was unable to win the match, although she did gain the adulation from the fans. It's crazy because I remember taking the loss and just like sitting there and thinking that the world was over, but then this miraculous moment happened where the WWE Universe embraced me as one of their own, said Moon. They were like, oh, okay, we love you. And I got my first standing ovation in WWE. And just feeling that energy, there was nothing to be mad about. There was nothing to be sad about. I gave it my all, and the only thing I really wanted to do after that point was give the WWE Universe something in return. Upon her main roster debut, Moon was able to perform her finisher, a jumping top rope stunner called the Eclipse. En route to pinning former Raw and SmackDown Live Women's Champion Alexa Bliss, Moon revealed the origin of the finisher and the previous name of the move. So when I first started doing the Eclipse, formerly known as the O-Face, it was a move created by one of my friends who did a not PG gimmick or had a non-PG character. And at the time, I did not know the meaning of said word. I'm not going to say the meaning of the word, but just know that it is the Eclipse now. And it took a long time to master. I'm still working out kinks in it, here and there. I would like to think that it's almost perfected. But yeah, it's crazy how it means so much to me. And like a really weird, intimate way as a performer. You know, I always pride myself in doing things that no other woman would do. And now it's like I'm in WWE. I am a WWE superstar. I do things that even men wouldn't do. Like I said, lack of bodily care. When I do dangerous moves, not the best thing that I have, but, you know, it's a cool trait. Moon added that she has tons of finishers before the Eclipse. She used to do the top rope knee stomp, like Sasha Banks does, and also used to be known as the big girl in Texas, although she is 5'1" and can deadlift over 400 pounds. Moon stated that she used to have several power moves in her arsenal, but after her friend retired and gave her the move to use, she became more aerial despite being afraid of heights. Liv Morgan accidentally posted the run sheet for tonight's NXT TV tapings on her Instagram story. As seen at this link, she had posted a photo of herself. However, the sheet was in the background, and the sheet lists the matches for tonight's show. If I could get a picture of it, I'll post that as well. Lists the matches for tonight's show as well as talents involved in the segments. Shawn Michaels was involved with producing several segments, including 2 matches with Aleister Black. Nigel McGuinness did not work the TV tapings at Full Sail University. No word yet on why he missed the tapings, but the action was called by Mauro Ranallo and Percy Watson. Thanks to Tara's friend Henry for the following NXT spoilers from TV tapings at Full Sail. Dark match before the TV taping saw Leo Rush defeat indie wrestler Chico Adams. April 18th episode, Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae were out through a big pop. Gargano was happy to finally have his life back after the feud with Tommaso Ciampa. I actually watched a couple of episodes, and his name is Ciampa, not Ciampa. He thanked Candice for sticking with him through the past few months and says tonight he will take care of some unfinished business. Candice versus Zelina Vega was announced for the evening. Gargano promises to become the next number one contender to the NXT title. Ricochet defeated Fabian Aichner. Ricochet hit an impressive 630 for the pin and cut a quick babyface promo after the match. The War Raiders defeated the Metro Brothers, Chris and JC. The former War Machine are still using their Hanson and Rowe names. Lars Sullivan defeated Killian Dane in a brutal no disqualification match. The two big men went at it here. Lars hit the freak accident on top of several steel chairs for the pin. Candice LeRae defeated Zelina Vega. After the match, Gargano issued a challenge to NXT champion Aleister Black. Black came out and accepted the challenge, and the match is set up for next week. April 25th episode, Undisputed Era was out. NXT North American champion Adam Cole. NXT Tag Team Champions Roger Strong and Kyle O'Reilly. The injured Bobby Fish. Strong is officially announced as Tag Team Champion. They brag on TakeOver weekend, and Strong takes a shot at WWE UK champion Pete Dunne. NXT North American champion Adam Cole retained over Oney Lorcan with interference from Strong and O'Reilly. Danny Burch ran out to make the save, but they beat him down. Heavy Machinery defeated Tino Sabbatelli and Riddick Moss when Tino walked out on Riddick. After the match, Heavy Machinery issued a challenge to the War Raiders. Kerry Sane defeated Australian indie wrestler Shazza McKenzie from Shine Wrestling. After the match, Lacey Evans came to the ring and apologized to Kerry for some comments after their TV match in New Orleans. Lacey offered a handshake but turned and dropped Kerry with the mic. TM61 defeated the Street Profits with the feet on the bottom rope. Cheat win. UK champion Pete Dunne defeated Roger Strong by disqualification in a non-title match. Undisputed Era interfered, but Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch made the save. May 2nd episode, Conor Reeves defeated indie wrestler Patrick Scott. Ricochet came to the ring to a pop and cut a promo on the NXT title. Velveteen Dream interrupted, and they had words for several minutes with the Dream saying, Ricochet just isn't good enough. EC3 defeated Raul Mendoza. Dakota Kai defeated Vanessa Bourne. After the match, new NXT Women's Champion Shayna Baszler hit the ring and then intimidated Kai into the corner and beat Bourne down. Johnny Gargano versus NXT Champion Aleister Black never happened, as Tommaso Ciampa attacked Gargano during his entrance and beat him up. Ciampa destroyed Gargano and then left. Medics attended to Gargano and stretchered him out into an ambulance. May 9th episode, Bianca Belair defeated Candice LeRae. The War Raiders defeated Heavy Machinery. Tommaso Ciampa defeated Cassius Ohno. Ciampa attacked Ohno after the match. NXT champion Aleister Black came out and talked about Johnny Gargano, but Sanity interrupted and confronted him. Eric Young challenged Black, and we've got a match. Aleister Black defeated Eric Young in a non-title match. Black then took out Killian Dane and Alexander Wolf after the match and stood tall to end the tapings. On Twitter, Roman Reigns wrote about a tweet thing. Any show, any city, any country, any opponent, I'll fight. Well, Kenny Omega noticed this and responded with really, and a smirking emoji. Back in December, Reigns had an interview with Corey Graves where Reigns said he was the best in-ring performer today. About a month later, Omega also responded to that saying, "It is what it is, and I understand that it's fun. It's a fun thing for fans to generate interest in the product," Omega said. I take absolutely zero offense in him saying it, especially since it's quite clear that the fact of the matter is much, much different. WWE just announced that Rusev has been added back to the casket match against The Undertaker at WWE's greatest Royal Rumble event in Saudi Arabia. As noted, Rusev was replaced by Chris Jericho early in the month, right before WrestleMania. In the storyline for the replacement was that Lana was not going to allow her husband to compete in a casket match. Lana made the following tweet today before WWE announced the latest change for the match. CJ Lana Perry at Lana WWE. After much thought, I have notified at WWE officials that I have changed my mind. At Rusev Bull, we'll celebrate #Rusev Day by burying The Undertaker in the sands of Saudi Arabia and will win the casket match at WWE GRR. #Rusev Crush. Have a happy Rusev Day. In other news, on a big event from Saudi Arabia, which will air live on the WWE Network. Spoiler alert for brand changes and what have you. WWE currently has the following 20 superstars confirmed for the 50-man Royal Rumble match on their website. So Chris Jericho will be in the Rumble itself, as Bray Wyatt will not be. But Matt Hardy will be, I think. But both of them are in tag team match. But we'll see. And we got Daniel Bryan, Braun Strowman, Big Show, Kurt Angle, Elias, Baron Corbin, Big E, Kobe Kingston, Xavier Woods, Bray Wyatt. They advertise it here, but it's not mentioned that he's in the match because of the tag team match. Kane, Apollo, Titus O'Neil, Shelton Benjamin, Chad Gable, Sin Cara, Goldust, Mojo Rawley, Dolph Ziggler, and Rusev. No word yet on if Rusev will still be competing in the match, but Jericho will likely be re-added to the match once they update their listings. Again, Jericho will be added to the Rumble. Looks like some of the superstars are already booked for a singles match on the event. At the event, could be doing double duty in the Rumble event because of the need for 50 competitors. A new WWE in Espanol video has the following superstars on the graphic for their match: Titus O'Neil, Chad Gable, Mojo Rawley, Big E, Kobe Kingston, Xavier Woods, Elias, Apollo Crews, or just Apollo, Kurt Angle, Shinsuke Nakamura, Roman Reigns in the match, Daniel Bryan, John Cena, Big Show, Bray Wyatt, Kane, Baron Corbin, Ty Dillinger, Shelton Benjamin, Triple H, Randy Orton, Zack Ryder, Chris Jericho, Sin Cara, Braun Strowman, and WWE Champion AJ Styles. The Rock's Rampage dominated the weekend's box office on Friday the 13th, grossing a $34.5 million to take the top spot at the domestic box office. The movie has had a massive $55 million opening in China and is at $148.6 million worldwide. The movie was produced on a $120 million budget. Mojo Rawley was at the Flo Rida concert this past Saturday in Orlando. As seen in this video here, Flo Rida called Mojo up on stage during the show, and Mojo danced for several minutes. Alicia Fox is reportedly a few weeks away from being cleared to the ring action. According to the latest edition of Wrestling Observer newsletter, Fox has been out of action since she broke her tailbone this past January during rehearsals for the Women's Royal Rumble match. She was involved in a verbal altercation with Travis Brown, the husband of Ronda Rousey, during WrestleMania weekend. Baron Corbin, Bobby Roode, Chad Gable, Zack Ryder, Mojo Rawley, and Mike Kanellis to the list of SmackDown stars moving to Raw in the WWE Superstar Shakeup. Addition of Raw, the roster changes with Gable, Rawley, Kanellis, and Ryder were revealed on social media while the others were acknowledged on TV. Also noted, Raw to SmackDown roster changes will be revealed on SmackDown later in the show, as 2018 Superstar Shakeup wraps up. And here's a full list of changes from the Raw show, along with photos and videos from arrivals haven't covered yet. Jinder Mahal with Sunil Singh goes to SmackDown from Raw. Ruby Riott goes to SmackDown from Raw. Liv Morgan goes to SmackDown from Raw. Sarah Logan goes to SmackDown from SmackDown to Raw. Sami Zayn goes from SmackDown to Raw. Kevin Owens goes from SmackDown to Raw. Tyler Breeze goes from SmackDown to Raw. Fandango goes to SmackDown from SmackDown to Raw. Natalya goes from from SmackDown to Raw. Dolph Ziggler goes from SmackDown to Raw. Baron Corbin goes from SmackDown to Raw. Zack Ryder goes from SmackDown to Raw. Mojo Rawley goes from SmackDown to Raw. Mike Kanellis goes from SmackDown to Raw. Chad Gable goes from SmackDown to Raw. Bobby Roode goes from SmackDown to Raw. Drew McIntyre goes from NXT to Raw. Miz goes from Raw to SmackDown. Wrestling Inc. President Raj Girl recently on a media conference call with Impact Wrestling star Eli Drake. Former Impact World Champion discussed his contract status with the company. Drake was asked if there has been any negotiations regarding his contract, and his deal is expected to expire in May. Drake said there is no update as to whether he will remain with the company, and he yet hasn't signed a new contract yet. This only means that there is no news. Drake said there's no ink to any paper at this moment. Gary asked Drake about his thoughts on the sudden departure of Chris Adonis from Impact Wrestling. In January, Adonis abruptly announced on Twitter that he will be leaving the company after returning last April. It was reported that the move caught Impact off guard, and management was not sure why he made that decision to leave. Drake and Adonis frequently worked together as allies during the past year. Drake said he also was surprised by Adonis' decision to leave, and he hasn't really spoken to him since his departure. Even though he wishes Adonis would have stayed, Drake knows he had to do what's best for him. I wasn't too happy about it. Everybody's got their own reasons for whatever they're doing. It kind of hit me as a shock, as a surprise. I've only spoken to him here and there, honestly, since then, Drake said. But for the most part, I wish he would have stayed. I think we had something good. At the same time, I can kind of get where he was coming from. Raw General Manager Kurt Angle spoke on USA Today to promote SmackDown about the Superstar shakeup as well. Here's a couple of the highlights. Bobby Lashley returning to WWE, wanting to see Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. That surprised me. I literally didn't even know about him discussing anything with the company. Bobby was a guy that was overlooked years back. He came into his own at Impact Wrestling. He proved that he's an incredible sports entertainer. But Bobby was also, he always wanted to be a pro wrestler. He wanted to be a sports entertainer. He didn't necessarily want to be a fighter, but he had to fight to make some great money. So he did what he had to do to provide for his family by being in Bellator. Not that he didn't enjoy it, but he had more of a love for sports entertainment than he did MMA. I'm glad he's on Raw. I wrestled him many times. I beat him for the world title. He beat me. We had some great matches, and I know what he's capable of doing. I think one of the matches I'd really be intrigued to see is him versus Brock. The only setback in his WrestleMania 34 match, was, again, because of my overtraining. I pulled a muscle in my quad just like I did before Survivor Series. I was more concerned about that than the match itself. I didn't want to disappoint anyone. When I was training a couple of days ago, I couldn't push off my one leg. And I was like, oh God, not again. Survivor Series was a big letdown for me, but because I couldn't really do much at WrestleMania, I got through the match. I'm not going to say it was my best performance, but I got through the match. And I did what I had to do to make sure the match was as good as it was, so I can't complain. I'm going to start training smarter instead of overtraining and trying to get ready for the Olympics. That's who I am. My intensity. I have to step back on it. I have to remember I'm 49 years old. I act like I'm 25. Angle also discussed with SmackDown stars like he'd like on Raw, picking up the business quickly, Ronda Rousey stealing the show at Mania, and more. Carmella publicly commented for the first time on her recent breakup with Big Cass. She posted a preview to this week's episode of Total Divas on Instagram, which features the couple buying a new home, which you can find at that link. This week's episode of Total Divas is bittersweet for me, Carmella wrote. Moving, injuries, tears, and more. There's no rule book for this type of lifestyle, so I'm just trying to learn as I go. Cass will always hold a special place in my heart. Plus, he's going to make one hell of a comeback. The couple have been dating since their time in NXT, and their relationship was featured throughout the season of this season of Total Divas. WWE Universal Champion Brock Lesnar will make his return to TV on next Monday's Raw in St. Louis, as confirmed in a graphic. This will be just 5 days before the Beast defends his title against Roman Reigns in a steel cage match at the Greatest Royal Rumble event in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, the earth-shattering 2-day superstar shakeup truly changed the face of WWE. From the glorious emergence of Bobby Roode to the dominant showing by the Riot Squad to Raw Commissioner Stephanie McMahon's controversial hiring of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to Jinder Mahal, emerging only to lose the U.S. title to Jeff Hardy. The first night of the 2018 Superstar Shakeup completely turned Monday night upside down. The second night of Superstar Shakeup proved just as epic, as the emergence of elite superstars, likely newly crowned U.S. champion Jeff Hardy, Asuka, Samoa Joe, and 4-time Raw Tag Team Champions, the bar completely reconfigured SmackDown Live. So there's your spoilers for your results. Following superstars were sent from SmackDown Live to Monday Night Raw. Already read that. Not going to do it again. Well, there was others. Jinder Mahal, Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan, Liv Morgan, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Zack Ryder, Fandango, Tyler Breeze, Natalya, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, Connor and Victor of the Ascension were added. Bobby Roode, Mojo Rawley, Mike Kanellis, and Chad Gable. Following superstars hit from Monday night to SmackDown. During the second night of the Superstar Shakeup, not very many. Look for more to be added later. Number one, Jeff Hardy, U.S. champion, takes his title to SmackDown. Number 2, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, Samoa Joe, Big Cass, Asuka, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, Cesaro, Sheamus, R-Truth, and of course, The Miz from Raw. Plus, new arrivals from NXT, Andre Cien Almas, Zelina Vega, Sanity's Eric Young, Alexander Wolf, and Killian Dane. Tattoo artist responsible for professional wrestler Randy Orton's tattoos is allegedly suing both WWE and 2K Games for copyright infringement. According to a report from TMZ Sports, the Illinois tattoo artist named Catherine Alexander is the artist who's filing the lawsuit against the two companies. TMZ Sports reports that Alexander has been tattooing Orton since 2003, and the artist says that she owns the copyright to the designs on Orton's body that are also featured in 2K's wrestling video games. In the WWE games, published by 2K Sports, a division of 2K Games, Orton's tattoos are faithfully represented and are drawn accurately to represent Orton's real tattoos. The accuracy of the tattoos is the basis for the Alexander's lawsuit, with the artist saying that the two organizations didn't have permission to use her designs in the games. Alexander also told TMZ Sports that this won't be the first that WWE is hearing of her qualms with the in-game tattoos. The artist says that she brought up the issue with the wrestling organization back in 2009, while pointing out that the tattoos were being used in games, and said that she was offered $450 as compensation for the company to obtain rights to the designs. She declined the offer from WWE, but TMZ Sports reports that doesn't indicate where the discussion between Alexander and WWE went from there. Orton fans will recall that the wrestler has numerous tattoos, and Alexander says that she's responsible for the tribal tattoo on his upper back that's seen so often in his poses. She also said that she owned the right to Orton's full sleeve, that everything from a Bible verse to a dove, skulls, and a rose, among other tattoos, according to TMZ Sports. Additional details on the lawsuit have not been released, so it's unclear exactly how much Alexander is seeking in terms of compensation for the copyright infringement claims. 2K Games has faced a similar lawsuit in the past involving LeBron James and his tattoos. James' tattoo artist filed a suit against 2K for the use of professional basketball player tattoos in NBA 2K17. WWE has just announced that Shinsuke Nakamura will face WWE Champion AJ Styles with the title on the line at the Greatest Royal Rumble event later this month. In other news on the big event, WWE has confirmed that Bray Wyatt will not be in the 50-man Battle Royal Rumble match, and he and Matt Hardy will face the Bar. They have also confirmed Chris Jericho for the match now that Rusev has been added back to the casket match with The Undertaker. Kane has also been removed from the Rumble match as well, but that's possibly due to commitments related to his bid for mayor in Knox County, Tennessee. The Greatest Rumble event takes place on Friday, April 27th from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. The show will air live on the WWE Network. And the updated confirmed card, steel cage match, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. WWE title match, Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles. Ladder match for the Intercontinental title, Samoa Joe versus Finn Balor versus Miz versus Seth Rollins. Match for the vacant Raw Tag Team titles, Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy versus Cesaro and Sheamus. SmackDown Tag Team titles, Usos versus Bludgeon Brothers. United States title match, Jinder Mahal versus Jeff Hardy. Cruiserweight title match to be announced versus Cedric Alexander. 50-man Rumble, Daniel Bryan, Braun Strowman, Big Show, Kurt Angle, Elias, Baron Corbin, Big E, Kofi, Xavier, Apollo, Titus O'Neil, Shelton Benjamin, Chad Gable, Sin Cara, Goldust, Mojo Rawley, Dolph Ziggler, Chris Jericho, and more to be announced. Casket match, Undertaker versus Rusev, John Cena versus Triple H, the main event. Superstar Shake-Up edition of SmackDown opened up with a video package looking at last week's happenings between Shinsuke and AJ. Live from Dunkin' Donuts Center in Providence, Rhode Island. As Tom Phillips welcomes us to the show, joined in by Byron Texan and Corey Graves. We go to the ring. Out comes WWE Champion AJ Styles as Greg Hamilton does ring introductions. Styles takes the mic as fans chant his name. He says Shinsuke Nakamura showed his true colors after the loss at WrestleMania 34, and he's not just the artist. He's a con artist. We get some dueling chants from AJ for AJ and Nakamura now. AJ says he should have been celebrating with the fans last week, but all he could think of was payback. AJ says he was presented with a real dream match last week against Daniel Bryan. Fans chant yes now. AJ says Nakamura showed his true colors and then ruined the match. And AJ is not letting it go, and he's not leaving the ring until he confronts Nakamura. Fans pop as AJ knows Shinsuke has suddenly forgot how to speak English, but he's not here to talk. He's here to fight. AJ calls Nakamura a two-faced coward and tells him to come out and fight. We hear Aiden English start singing as he and Rusev come to the stage instead. They get some more of a pop. English sings or raps about AJ facing Rusev, and the fans ask what day it is. Rusev Day. I tried 2 or 3 different websites, and all of them streaming was very terrible. It would buffer through the entire show. I only saw like a very brief few seconds of a couple of matches. Dirt sheet is fine. You're getting the results. We get AJ Styles versus Rusev first match. Bell rings and Rusev goes right to work on AJ. Rusev gets some offense in, but AJ quickly applies a calf crusher. English hits the ring for a quick disqualification. Winner by DQ, AJ Styles. AJ gets double teamed until Daniel Bryan runs out and makes a save. Rusev goes out when English is next. Fan chant yes as Bryan and AJ stand tall in the ring as AJ's music hits. SmackDown Commissioner Shane McMahon is backstage watching when SmackDown General Manager Paige enters. Paige makes Bryan and AJ versus Rusev Day for tonight's main event. They talk more about tonight's show, including the Miz's return. Still to come segment, Carmella will celebrate her big title win. We go to commercial. Shelton Benjamin versus Jeff Hardy. Who is your news SmackDown? Come back from the break. I'll call Shelton Benjamin. We see post-Raw tweet on Chad Gable going to Raw in the Superstar Shake-Up. Shelton takes the mic and comments on the tweet and how he sees big things in Gable's future on Raw. Benjamin says his Twitter account was hacked and he would never say anything like that. Benjamin says he no longer needs Gable. Correction, he never needed Gable. Gable needed him. Benjamin says enough about Gable. He needs the respect he deserves, the title shots he owes, and to remind everyone that he's one of the biggest threats on SmackDown. Benjamin says he had a chat with Paige and told her to send him some big competition. Benjamin drops the mic and waits for his opponent. Music hit, and out comes Randy Orton to a pop. But the match had changed. It wasn't Jeff Hardy. Orton's music stops before he hits the ring. We hear fans chanting for the RKO. Music suddenly hits, and out comes new U.S. champion Jeff Hardy, who won the title from new Raw superstar Jinder Mahal on last night's Raw. Jeff runs past Orton and hits the ring to post. Orton doesn't look happy. The announcers believe Hardy is now on the blue brand. Bell rings for this non-title match, and Shelton beats Hardy down. Shelton keeps control for another minute or so and sends Hardy flying out to the floor. And that's where my feed went off. Back to commercial, back for the break. Shelton keeps control by focusing on the legs of Hardy. Jeff makes a comeback and nails a clothesline. Jeff with a basement drop kick for a 2 count. More back and forth. Jeff goes to the top, but Shelton cuts him off. Shelton ends up delivering a big knee to the jaw in the corner. Shelton climbs up top for a superplex, but Jeff fights back. Jeff uses the turnbuckle to send Shelton to the mat. Jeff climbs up for the whisper in the wind, but Shelton kicks out at 2. Fan chant for Hardy as he gets to his feet. Shelton blocks the twist of fate and drops Jeff with a big shot to the jaw for another 2 count. Shelton waits for Jeff to get back up now. Jeff blocks a pay dirt and kicks Shelton back in the corner. An inverted mule kick. He's done that move. That's classic Jeff Hardy style. Shelton then blocks a Hardy-yak arrest. Kick in the corner. But Jeff nails a twist of fate. Jeff climbs up top and nails a swanton for the win. After the match, Jeff takes the title and stands tall as the music hits. We go to replays and come back to Jeff celebrating. The announcers send us to a video from The Miz on his phone. The fans pop when Miz asks if we want to see Daniel Bryan punch him in the face. Miz says that's too bad because he's not here. He's in Los Angeles with Maurice and their daughter. We see them with him now. Miz announces that he will premiere on next week's SmackDown. He says he will kick Bryan's butt, but Maurice interrupts and tells him to watch the language around the kid. That's why I kept it PG. Miz declares that the next week's SmackDown will be awesome. They kiss, and that's it for that promo. Still to come, Carmella's big celebration. Also, Jey Uso versus Harper back to commercial. And that match is up next, Jey Uso versus Harper. Back for the break, it's announced that Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose are now on the SmackDown roster, thanks to former Absolution member Paige. Usos wait in the ring as SmackDown Tag Team Champions. The Bludgeon Brothers head to the ring. The bell rings and Harper goes right to work on Jey. Jey fights back with a big right hand, but Harper nails him again. Uso slides out of a hole and nails a kick on Harper. Rowan gets on the apron, but Jimmy Uso pulls him off. Rowan ends up dropping Jimmy on the outside. Jey comes over and Rowan grabs him. Jimmy makes a save with a super kick to Rowan, but also falls down. Harper takes advantage and hits a discus clothesline on Jey for the quick win. After the match, Rowan nails a big boot to Jimmy on the floor. They drag Jey out of the ring, but here comes Jimmy with one of the large mallets. They block his offense and send him into the steel ring steps. Rowan and Harper ram Jey back into the apron, and he goes down. Rowan and Harper look to continue the destruction on the floor, but here comes a crying Naomi running down the ramp. She begs them to stop and checks on Jimmy. She continues crying and pleading with the Bludgeon Brothers as they back off and some fans boo. Naomi tends to Jimmy as the music hits. And the Bludgeon Brothers run back on the ramp. Still to come segment, Bryan and AJ team up again in the main event. Back to commercial. Sin Cara versus Samoa Joe. Back for the right, Sin Cara is waiting in the ring. Out comes Samoa Joe, making his way to the blue brand from the red brand. Bell rings and they go at it. Sin Cara mounts offense to start, but Joe fights back with strikes. Joe drops Sin Cara with jabs and a chop. Joe grabs Sin Cara, but he slides out. More back and forth until Joe floors Sin Cara. So I got to see the whole match with that one. My feed came back in. Joe with more stiff strikes, including a big knee. Joe picks up Sin Cara and drops him into the coquina clutch for the tap out win. After the match, Joe takes a mic and says, "This seems more like a land of handouts instead of the land of opportunities." Joe says everyone has had it easy. SmackDown has been coddled and catered to, and everyone has been convinced that they are better than they are. Joe says that all changes now because he's here and he gets all the opportunities. Joe says he will have the chance to put down Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton, and WWE Champion AJ Styles. Joe says if any of us are non-believers, look to what he's going to do in Saudi Arabia and Backlash. Joe promises to put Roman rained down for good, and there's anything left of him after his steel cage match with the Universal Champion in Saudi Arabia. Joe says if Reigns somehow wins against Lesnar, he will take his newly won Intercontinental title that he plans on winning in Saudi Arabia and rip the Universal title off of Reigns at Backlash. Joe's music hits and he stands tall. The announcers lead us to a promo on pay-per-views being dual branded from here on out. Back from a break, we get a promo from debuting NXT group Sanity coming to SmackDown. Renee Young catches up with Daniel Bryan backstage to ask about making the save for AJ Styles earlier. Bryan says he's proud to team with AJ tonight because he knows one day that they will fight against each other. Big Cass appears and gets in Bryan's face. Renee leaves and fans cheer for Cass. See, my feed was out right after the Samoa Joe match. Renee leaves and fans cheer for Cass. Cass mocks Bryan's height and asks if he's really what the fuss is all about. Cass calls Bryan a little man and walks off. We go to the ring. Out comes SmackDown Women's Champion Carmella for her celebration in-ring segment. There are 2 tables or stands in the ring with leopard print covers over them with a leopard print rug in the middle of the ring. Carmella places the title on one of the tables. Carmella mocks the fans and says she's no longer just the princess of Staten Island anymore. We can now call her the princess of SmackDown. Carmella says she waited 287 days for the perfect opportunity and she sees the moment, taking her rightful spot on the top of the women's division. Carmella goes on about beating Charlotte Flair on her own. Carmella says all she had to do to beat Flair was wait for her to be blinded by her own ego. She goes on and raises her title in the air, saying what she did last week was historic. She says this will go down as the biggest moment in women's revolution, as the biggest moment in women's history. She wants to keep the celebration going with a tribute to herself. We get a video package on the big screen. Carmella says she will miss Frankie, her briefcase, now that she's got Cleopatra, the title. She goes on about how Mella is money, but the music interrupts and out comes Flair to the stage with a microphone. Flair says it looks like Carmella's title reign will be like her memory, short. Flair says the video package was missing key moments because she only had the Money in the Bank briefcase due to the chinless freak James Ellsworth, and she only won the title because of Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. Flair goes on and congratulates Carmella, but gives her some words of wisdom. It's much harder to stay on top than it is to get there. And Carmella has something of hers. Flair starts entering the ring, but the music hits and out comes the Iconics. Peyton and Billie talk trash to Flair while walking to the ring. Flair watches from the apron. They say Flair is looking at the future, and the future is Iconic. Flair looks ready to fight as she drops her robe. She leaves the apron and goes after Billie and Peyton on the ramp. She fights them both, but Billie rams her into the barrier and they double team her, beating her down. Music hit, out comes Becky Lynch to make the save. Peyton meets her, but Becky drops her. Becky takes out Billie next. Referee tries to break up the brawl and up as Flair gets back up. We go to commercial. And the match is on. Charlotte versus Billie. Back from the break. The match is already underway. They go to the floor and the ball back in the ring with Flair in control. Peyton and Becky are cheering on their friends from ringside. Carmella has her feet kicked up at the announce table, but she's not on commentary. Billie fights Flair, but Flair sends her into the ring post. Flair comes back in from the apron, but Billie drops her for a quick pin attempt. Billie mounts Flair with more offense and 2 count. More back and forth now. Flair fights back, but Billie takes control again. Billie takes her time with Flair, keeps her down. Billie keeps Flair grounded with a submission. Billie distracts the referee after breaking the hold, allowing Peyton to nail Flair with a cheap shot while she's down in the corner. Becky runs over towards Peyton as we go to commercial. Back from the break, Flair drops Billie with a knee. Billie comes right back with a suplex for a pin attempt. Flair fights back with chops. Carmella yawns at the match. Flair unloads and drops Billie with more chops. Flair drops a knee and waits for Billie to get to her feet. Flair looks to put Billie away, but it's blocked. Billie drops Flair again for a close 2 count. They trade counters again, and Billie rolls her up for a 2 count. Flair comes right back with a big boot. Flair goes for the figure 4 and breezes into the figure 8 for the win. After the match, Flair stands tall, but Carmella runs in and drops her with the title. Becky makes a save, but the Iconics take her out. Carmella goes back to beating on Flair while she's down. Music interrupts. Out comes newest member of the Blue Brand, Asuka. Asuka runs into the ring and Carmella retreats. Asuka takes out Peyton and then Billy. Peyton gets dropped again. Becky and Flair join in now. Take turns on Billy. Asuka, Flair, and Becky stand tall as Asuka's music hits. Carmella watches from the stage. The announcers lead us to a promo for Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson coming to SmackDown from Raw. Still to come segment, AJ and Bryan versus Rusev Day. Back to commercial. Back to the break. The announcers hype the greatest Royal Rumble event. We get backstage promo from the bar talking about how dominant they have been. Cesaro and Sheamus announce that they are coming to SmackDown roster. We see the New Day backstage, and Big E is riding on the back of a much smaller staffer. They spot R-Truth, and apparently he's on the Blue Brand roster as well. Back on SmackDown. Ty Dillinger appears, and it looks like he and Truth are facing off, but they do their own handshake, and are all smiles. Truth says he's glad he's on Raw now with the New Day and Dillinger. They have to inform him that this is SmackDown. Truth says, "My bad," and walks off, saying he will see them tomorrow. Truth walks off as Ty and the New Day wonder if he's going to be all right. The announcers go over the Superstar shakeup changes made tonight and post WrestleMania 34 arrivals from last week. It's confirmed that Nikki Cross will not be with Eric Young, Killian Dane, and Alexander Wolf. The announcers send out to a video from NXT's Zelina Vega and Andre Cien Almas are also coming to the Blue Brand. So it's unknown where Nikki Cross is going. Is she staying with NXT or going to Raw or SmackDown? It's not coming with Sanity. Oh, there you go. AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan versus Rusev and Aiden English main event. We go to ring for tonight's main event. Out first comes AJ Styles to a pop back to commercial. Back from the break, Rusev was already out with Aiden English. Daniel Bryan was out next to a pop. Bryan starts off with English as they lock up as the fans chant for Bryan. Bryan gets the upper hand and unloads, taking English out of the air. Bryan keeps English grounded and hits the surfboard. AJ tags in and comes off the top onto English while he's still in the hold. English ends up turning it around on AJ and beating him around. We get dueling chants for both teams. AJ turns around and hits a gutbuster on Aiden. Rusev runs in, but Bryan puts him in the yes lock at the same time as AJ is putting the calf crusher on English, or trying to. Rusev and English break free and retreat to the floor as we go to commercial. Back for the break, English is in control of AJ, keeping him down for a 2 count. English keeps AJ grounded as fans rally, and Bryan reaches for a tag. AJ fights English off, but English hits a backdrop for a 2 count. Rusev tags back in for some double teaming. AJ fights out of a hold, but Rusev stops him from tagging. Rusev then rams AJ back in the corner and works him over as Rusev stands tall and wastes some time while AJ is down. English tags back in for some double teaming to AJ. English with a 2 count. English stomps on AJ and plays to the crowd. English puts the boot to AJ. AJ nails the jawbreaker and looks to turn it around, but he can't. Aiden goes down and AJ looks for a tag, but Aiden comes back. Aiden misses the boot and AJ rolls him up for a 2 count. AJ nails a Pele kick. Bryan finally gets the hot tag and unloads on Rusev as he also tags in. Bryan keeps control of Rusev as the fan due to Morgasm yes chance. Bryan with a corner drop kick. Rusev blocks the second. Bryan ends up going for the yes lock, but Aiden comes in. He gets taken out again. Bryan goes on and hits a yes kick to Rusev. Bryan waits for Rusev to get up and nails a big knee. Shinsuke Nakamura appears out of nowhere and hits AJ with a low blow from behind on the apron. Referee doesn't see it. This leads to Big Cass hitting the ring and flooring Bryan with a big boot for disqualification. After the bell, Cass nails Bryan again, and as Nakamura comes back over the barrier, all smiles. Cass stands over Bryan and raises his fist. We go to replays as the new theme song for Cass hits. And I caught the end of that, and that was about it. As his music is playing, Renee interviews Nakamura on the stage and asks him what's going on, but he says he doesn't speak English. Nakamura stares down at the ring before heading to the back. SmackDown goes off the air with Big Cass standing over Daniel Bryan in the middle of the ring. 205 Live, quick results. Mustafa Ali defeated Ari Daivari. Drake Maverick announced a gauntlet match for the next week. Gentleman Jack Gallagher and Brian Kendrick defeated local competitors. They didn't know, in the quick results, didn't say who the competitors were. Les Dorado and Grand Metalik defeated Akira Tozawa and Hideo Itami in Tornado Tag Match. Before making his way to the ring, Ari Daivari revealed that he had requested a match with Mustafa Ali in an effort to tell Ali that he tried and failed to win the Cruiserweight Championship and has to go back to the back of the line. Once the opening bell sounded, Daivari charged after Ali, proving that he was serious about putting his opponent in his place. Ali quickly recovered, but Daivari kicked Ali off the top rope before focusing attacks on the heart of the WWE 205 Live's back. The Persian Lion methodically attacked Ali's back while taunting him, showing his resilience. Ali tried the best to fight back, but the damage was done, and he struggled to maintain an offense, and he appeared to have an advantage. He was quickly sidetracked by a hard-hitting spinebuster on the arena floor. Keeping the pressure on Ali, Daivari executed a series of high-impact strikes, but he was unable to secure a pinfall. Taking Ali to the top rope, the Persian Lion prepared a high-risk move, but Ali countered and landed on his feet as Daivari crashed to the mat. Seeking the opportunity, Ali ran across the ring, ascended the ropes, and executed a gravity-defying 450 for the win. And that can be found at this link. Responding to Buddy Murphy's attack on the new Cruiserweight Champion Cedric Alexander last week at 205 Live, General Manager Drake Maverick revealed that despite his personal feelings about the attack, Murphy has done enough to earn a title opportunity. However, in a devastating turn of events for the Australian superstar, Maverick informed the WWE Universe that Murphy failed his latest weigh-in and has been disqualified from competing on 205 Live. So I guess he's above the 205 weight limit. As a result, Maverick announced a gauntlet match for next week to determine who will face Cedric Alexander for the Cruiserweight Championship at the Crazy Royal Rumble event, and that can be found in this thing. Making his in-ring return after suffering a broken elbow bone on Christmas Day at the hands of Hideo Itami, former Cruiserweight Champion Brian Kendrick was prepared to show the Cruiserweight division he's back and better than ever. Reteaming with Gentleman Jack Gallagher, he and the British superstar were poised to use their aggressiveness and resume their mission of cruelty. Unfortunately for their opponents, the man with the plan, and Gallagher took pleasure in unleashing pain and punishment. Despite moments of offense from their opponents, Kendrick and Gallagher remained in control through the contest, working together without missing a beat. The man with the plan also displayed an even more aggressive nature when he was struck in the face, eventually translated into a perfectly executed captain's hook for the tap-out win, marking Kendrick's successful return to the ring. And that can be found at this point. Intensity between Lince Dorado and Grand Metalik and Hideo Itami and Akira Tozawa had gotten so high that 205 Live general manager felt that the only way settling this was in the chaos of a tornado tag match. Highlighting the tension, before Itami and Tozawa even made it to the ring, Metalik and Dorado attacked. An all-out brawl commenced. Using their speed and agility, the Golden Links and the King of the Ropes kept their opponents on defense, wisely separating them by keeping Itami out of the ring and Tozawa taking the brunt of their attacks. However, the hard-hitting and resilient Japanese superstars wouldn't stay down for long, as Tozawa turned the tide on both luchas, and Itami quickly joined in on the offensive flurry. Tozawa and Itami focused their attention on Lince Dorado, keeping Metalik reeling on the outside of the ring. The aggressive offense from the Japanese superstars nearly resulted in Itami ripping off Dorado's mask before they once again focused on the hard-hitting offense at the Golden Link's expense. The heavy focus on Dorado eventually backfired on Itami and Tozawa as a recuperated Grand Metalik charged in the ring and leveled both opponents, removing both Tozawa and Itami from the ring. Metallic and Dorado executed a jaw-dropping synchronized moonsault to the outside. The match quickly devolved into a chaotic free-for-all on the outside of the ring, ended with Dorado battling both opponents on the top rope as Metallic recovered from being driven into the announce table. The king of the ropes managed to recover fast enough to come to his partner's aid and execute an incredible high risk from the top with Metallic and Tommy reeling. Tozawa and Dorado slugged it out in the middle of the ring with a stamina monster taking control and executing his patented senton for a near fall, broken up by Metallic. The battle continued to rage, and the Japanese competitors found themselves again alone with the Golden Links. However, showing his own resilience, Dorado countered a double team effort with a double springboard stunner, much to the delight of the WWE Universe. Despite the flurry from Dorado, Tommy struck and nearly secured victory until Metallic saved his partner and the Luchas laid out their opponents. Freeing himself from Tommy's grasp, Metallic ducked a kick from Tozawa that leveled Tommy, taking down this stamina monster. The Golden Links and the King of the Ropes ascended to the top and executed two high-flying strikes for a hard-fought victory. After the match, Calissa charged the ring to celebrate the victory with his Lucha brothers, and the Lucha House Party was officially underway, and that can be found in this link. Dark main event saw that was after 205 Live in Providence. Rhode Island saw Shinsuke Nakamura and Randy Orton go at it, with Nakamura ending the match with a low blow. Looks like for disqualification. Thanks again. See you one of you. That concludes my results for SmackDown 205 Live and your spoilers for NXT. See you want to be it? And by the way, just call me brothers and sisters.